Robin Hood Radio presents the commentary of Don Morrison. Don is a former editor at Time magazine. He's an author, lecturer, and member of the Berkshire Eagle Advisory Board.
Lately, election officials across the country have been receiving death threats, mostly from Republicans. They're angry that Donald Trump was not declared the winner of last year's presidential election. Threats of violence are popular these days. Against members of Congress, they're up 107% over this time last year. There are even death threats by members of Congress. Representative Paul Gosar, an Arizona Republican, recently tweeted an animated image of him killing New York Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Meanwhile, school board meetings around the country are being violently disrupted by conservatives protesting COVID mandates and the way history is taught. Public health officials and even nurses are routinely threatened with violence by opponents of vaccines and masks. At a recent Republican rally in Idaho, a guy got up to ask, quote, "When will we get to use the guns?" The answer? Soon, maybe. A recent survey showed 41% of Republicans believe that patriots like them will, quote, have to take the law into their own hands. Another poll showed a quarter of Republicans, though not many Democrats, believe violence is justified to attain their political aims. Political violence isn't new in America. We had a lot of it in the 1800s over slavery, and later during the Jim Crow era. In the 1960s and 70s, violence accompanied the civil rights struggle and the anti-Vietnam War protests. After that, we had the sometimes violent anti-abortion movement and the rise of armed right-wing militias. What's different this time is that one of our two major political parties is pushing the idea that it's okay to use violence. Thus, the January 6th attack in Washington, intended to keep that party in power after it lost an election. Not surprisingly, that party is trying to expand the right to carry guns, even at political protests. This is getting ridiculous. We have to start cracking down on political violence, its sponsors, its enablers, and anybody who tries to take the law into his or her own hands. Otherwise, the U.S. will become what we used to call a banana republic, a country where elections are determined by violence and intimidation, where political power comes from the barrel of a gun. And we know which party has most of the guns. I'm Don Morrison.
Don Morrison is an author and editor. He's taught at universities in the United States, Europe, and Asia. He's the European editor of the British magazine Port and a member of the Berkshire Eagle Advisory Board. He lives in Paris, Miami, and in Berkshire County.